Okay, so for this activity, what we want to do is create rectangles. Now, the objective here is not just to create rectangles, it's to have perseverance, that you're going to try it, get a score, and then try again to get a lower score. So let's start with what is a rectangle. A rectangle, probably you know this, is a quadrilateral. It's a four-sided figure where the opposite sides are the same length. So we're going to take some colored pencils and we're just going to draw some rectangles. You can make the rectangles any size you want. Okay, now that is one rectangle, but then I also want to know what is the area of that rectangle. So let's count up the squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, so that gives me an area of 8 and I have one rectangle. Now I'm going to switch colors and I'm going to make another rectangle. I'm going to try and capture all of these. Now I'm trying to cover, I have to cover all the black squares. You don't have to cover the white squares, but you can. So now that is a second rectangle that I have, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 squares. Right? So I'm going to put that over here because I have to add up all of the squares that I cover. I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to make another rectangle. This time I'll go like this. Now that is a third rectangle, so that makes 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 by 5 is 20. So that's the area of that rectangle. So you want to capture not only how many rectangles, but the area of the rectangle. So now, what about scoring? Once you've covered the entire little guy there, you're going to want to add up the area. So all of those squares that you covered, you're going to add those up. And then the number of rectangles. Now, right now, I only have 3 rectangles, but if I finished, I'd have more. But I'm going to take the number of rectangles, and I'm going to multiply it by the number of rectangles. So whatever your number of rectangles is, multiply it again. So 3 times 3 would be 9. And I'm going to add the square. That's what we call it when we multiply something by itself. The square of the number of rectangles plus how many squares there are, whatever that ends up being, and that's your score.